Hey everybody, welcome back to Simply Holy Living, where we make the holidays holy days, and we are in the third week of Advent 2021, and we are now in a series called Make My Joy Complete. What makes our joy complete? So this is the third part, and we've already talked about two things that make our joy complete. One is that Jesus makes our joy complete, not our mission, not our accomplishments, Jesus. Number two, we know that answered prayer makes our joy complete. And today we're going to talk about the third thing, and that is actually going to be found in John 15. Last week we looked in John 16, so it's the same context, or last time we looked at John 16, same context when Jesus is preparing his disciples for his departure. And right around verse 10, it says, "If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I've kept my Father's commands and I remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete." There it is. "My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I've called you friends, for everything that I've learned from my Father, I've made known to you. You did not choose me. I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you." Remember that? "This is my command: love each other." Okay, so we're talking about what is going to make our joy complete. And it says that if we remain in his love, our joy will be complete, to have his love in us. And when we love, we will obey his commands. And then it's this symbiotic relationship. Our love fuels us to obey, and our obedience fuels our love. They are inseparable. You know, so many times in the religious world, and I don't like to talk about this too much, but it becomes this thing of like, it's an either or situation. I mean, either we're just, you know, we're loved by God no matter what, and it's grace covers everything. And if that's not, and the opposite of that would be that we do works to earn that somehow. No. There's no earning. It's a continual flow. Those things exist at the same time. Because when you really, really love someone, you don't have to be commanded to do the right thing. That's really the truth. I want you to think about your kids. So if you were going to save your kid's life, would you be thinking, well, I don't know if I can sacrifice that much? You know, you have the opportunity to save your child from death, but you're not analyzing, well, what would I have to do? What do I have to do? No. The love says, oh, whatever I have to do, I don't care. You become nothing. You know, you as a parent, you become nothing because you would sacrifice anything for your child. And see, this is why Jesus goes through this entire thing about like, you're not my servants anymore. I mean, we all should be, to be quite honest. We all should just be God's servants. I mean, isn't that what Mary said? "I am the Lord's servant. May it be to me as you have said." That's what she told the angel. She was right-sizing herself. She's like, yes, I am a servant of the Lord. I am a servant of the living God. I mean, what else am I but a mere human in the service of the mighty God? I'm the creation, not the creator. I serve the creator, right? And that is a good stance to have. In fact, we need a lot more of that around here, right? On this earth, we need a lot more people who are saying, I'm just a creation. I can't tell the creator what he's done right and what he's done wrong. Who am I to tell God that he's wrong? You know, who am I to speak up and say, you know, God, you know, I could give you a few pointers, God, on how to do this thing. No. We all know that we really are God's servants. That's really what we amount to. But Jesus, he tells them, you know, you're not just my servants anymore. You're actually my friends. You are my friends. because God tells me stuff, and then I tell you everything that he tells me. It's just like we see our kids, they learn something, they tell all their friends everything, all the latest stuff, right? And we do this with our friends. We talk to them and we treat them as people, as humans with dignity and respect and honor and love. And he's saying, you're my friends. I'm not going to just call you my servants. In fact, it says, you are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because servant doesn't know his master's business. But instead, I've called you friends. I tell you everything I've learned from the Father. Everything the Father has made known to me, I've made known to you. I chose you. And he has to go through that big thing. It's like, wait a second. Remember when I was walking along the road and nobody that followed him, none of the disciples, the apostles, came to him and with an application. None of them applied for the job. None of them felt themselves worthy. Matthew wasn't filling out an application. Hello. We have, the fishermen. Well, they're not thinking that there's somebody who could follow a rabbi. They didn't make the cut. None of these guys made the cut to follow a rabbi. He goes, remember that. You didn't choose me. I chose you. And that's what God is saying to you right now, disciple. He chose you. Before the creation of the world, actually, is what the Bible says. But that is too mind-blowing for us to cover right now. But he chose you. And when you get that, when you really get love, when you get the love of the Father, when you really can focus and marinate in and meditate on and experience somehow this incredible love of God, you no longer ask, well, what do I have to do? What are the commands again? So, check them off. No. You obey, because you would do anything for him. You would do anything for a love like that. And that's why that makes our joy complete. When you experience God's love, it makes your joy complete. I have this theory that, it's just a Tracy Minor theory. So, you get what you pay for here, which I believe is free. But out of all the apostles, John is the only one that got to live to an old age, right? He's the only one that got to live out all of his years. Everybody else was cruelly put to death, martyred for their faith. But John lived on the island of Patmos until he died, I believe. No, I think he might have been able to go back and in his very, very old age. I can't remember, but he, died in exile. But if you read John and all of his letters and his writings, he just writes about love more and more and more. He's the apostle of love, right? But he didn't start out that way. He started out as a son of thunder, correct? I think it's the same John. So he starts off as this, James and John, the sons of thunder. Hey, Jesus, you want us to rain down fire on those guys because they don't believe us. He's that guy. I just love it. He's me, on the inside. So, he's got all that fire inside. But as the years went on, he realized, all of it is just about love. Every single bit of it is just about love. And I know it sounds so naive. All you need is love. Bam, bam, ba-da-da. It sounds naive, and people make fun of you. They make fun of you, and they, look down on you like, oh, I know. Pat you on the back like love, love, love. All you need is love. Actually, it is all you need. All you need is God's love. That's it. And the more we grow, the older we get, the more we grow in his love, the more mature we become, you'll be able to tell by our love. Our love for one another. Isn't that what it said? Loving each other, basically, is what it's saying here. Love each other. And I'll read you a couple more scriptures about joy and love. In Philemon 1, Paul is writing, and he says, your love has given me great joy and encouragement, because you, brother, have refreshed the hearts of the Lord's people. Love, when we love one another, it spreads joy. It makes our joy complete. Another time, the Corinthian church had written to Paul, it says he told us about your longing for me, your deep sorrow, your ardent concern for me, so that my joy was greater than ever. When we love, as Jesus said to love, when we love each other, then the joy radiates. And this is just something that I'm more and more getting in touch with, is that, lots of times the world is actually repulsed by the church sometimes right now, because they see all the things that we do that are not loving, to be quite honest. And all the conversations that go on social media, and the fighting between the denominations, and all the, all that yucky stuff, right? So right now the world is not really looking to join the church. But just think, if they could really tell we were Christians by our love for one another. Isn't that supposed to be the mark? Isn't that supposed to be the identifying characteristic of disciples? Is our love for one another. That's what it says right there in John. So this is an amazing concept. It's mind-blowing, but it is so worth it because it makes our joy complete. So I hope this helps you to grow in your love. Until next time.